Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Now, this beer here, I was going to put a white beater on. I was going to pace back and forth. I was going to make funny jokes about people being idiots on BeerTube and all that. And then I was going to yell "Rape the Ravens" and a bunch of other stuff, because we were going to play it as if I was stealing this beer. Because this beer was left here for a beer mail. This beer was brought here by Guy at the beer festival in April. It's now December. He left this beer here saying, get Joe to do a beer mail with this to so-and-so, and I forget who it was. And we brought that, and Joe had way too many beers to bring back that time, and then he came up in August for a beer festival that he went to with me, and he forgot to bring it that time, and then shifts changed, and he hasn't been able to get up here since. And, actually, the three of us talked about it on Beer Dweebs United, and I'm like, you know what, what do you want me to do with the beer? Do you want me to save it until next year when Joe's here in May? Or do you want me to just drink it? And he's like, just drink it. So, we were going to play it up that way, and then I decided not to, because I couldn't find my wife beater, and, you know, it's just so much more work than I'm willing to do right now. So all I'm going to say is, yeah. I don't even know if this is still good. It's never been in a fridge. It's been sitting in my cellar. It should be, because it's 11.5% alcohol, but you never know for sure if things are going to last. And I mean, he bought it before April. It's now December, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We're already at least 8 months old. We're probably about a year old on this. But anyway, this is from the Brasseurs du Monde. Brasseurs du Monde. So, Brewers of the World. The Seigneur Noir. Le Seigneur Noir. Yeah, I did go to French in school, if you're asking. Yeah, I did. Fuck you guys that my French sucks. Fuck you. Again, 11.5% alcohol by volume. Oh, it was a twist off. Ooh, this is almost overfilled. I mean, here's the fill line. That's actually, that is overfilled. Little tiny touch of water left in there. It's gone now. Okay. That's a nice looking beer again. Tonight's the night of the stouts, it seems. I pulled out 4 beers, and they're all black as night. And this one's black as night too, and look at that head. Any viscosity? Ooh, just a tiny bit, but that's still beautiful and neat nonetheless. A visual appeal, again, an A+ for this. Visual appeal has been an A+ for all the beers, even the one that I didn't really like tonight. So that's awesome. Visually, I love seeing this in a glass. We'll pour a little bit more in here, but we'll still leave a little bit of room in there for some air movement. Let's give her a sniff. Whew! That is boozy! Not that I wouldn't expect it on an 11.5% alcohol beer, but wow, is this Imperial Stout boozy. Smells like a Russian Imperial Stout. Actually, you know what it actually smells like? It actually reminds me of, I've had a few ice wine barrel-aged barley wines, and this reminds me of those. It's almost like apple brandy popping in your nose. Just huge, huge on the alcohol. Huge on that fruity pop. Huge on the slightly... It's a slightly tart but sweet fruitiness, reminding me of apple brandy or ice wine. And I mean, that's the... whenever I drink a ice wine barreled barley wine, that's what I get is apple brandy. And that's what I'm smelling on this, just alcohol and an appley ester. And some dark fruits, maybe some fig. Yeah, fig and prune. I'm almost getting the hints of a barrel, too. I don't know if this is oak-aged or not. I don't think it is. My French reading comprehension is still fairly good, but not on writing that small, so I don't know. I don't think it's barrel-aged, but it has those scents. It has those scents of a barrel. It has that beautiful, beautiful fruity aroma that's just added to because of a barrel. It has that oakiness almost, that vanilla and that oaky tannin. So vanilla and almost oaky tannin, apple brandy-ish smell, apple esters floating around in there, some fig, some prune. It's just a beautiful smelling beer, a tiny touch of tartness. I really need to get into this beer now. So this beer, if any of you are wondering, is nothing but cellar temperature. It has been sitting on my floor again for 8 months on the other side of the basement. So let's try it. Cheers. Okay. Sticky lips. Is this barrel aged? Because it just screams that it's barrel aged. The smell screamed that it was barrel aged. The ABV kind of screams that it's barrel aged, and the taste kind of screams that it's barrel aged. You do get like an oaky tannin to it, which could come from malts, mattering what malts are used and how roasted they are. You could get it from the malts. It does have a vanilla taste to it, and it is very reminiscent of apple brandy. I'm just amazed at how much of an apple brandy like taste this has. This is very sweet, very much like an apple pie with alcohol. Warming, yes. Alcohol astringent, not really. There is a warming down here in the chest, but not really in the throat. It's in the chest. And that's a beautiful thing, too. This is a great winter warmer because of where it's warming you up. It's warming you up on the inside, not the outside. Keeping your innards at the proper temperature. Like I said, sticky lips, thick. It's thick and creamy. It coats your mouth. It's still sticking to my teeth right now. Lots of chocolate too. So I'm getting apple brandy and vanilla, which is fading into a chocolate taste, which is fading into a slight coffee taste, and that coffee taste mixed with an oak tannin is what's finishing in the back of my throat. Tiny touch of tartness as well in that almost apple brandy-like taste on the forefront. Could it? It's just a beautiful beer, it really is. Okay. That one. Sip number 4 didn't taste very good. And it's not the beer's fault. I did burp before that, and I've had a lot of garlic, and then it mixed with the garlic. So, if I was going to tell you a food pairing, because I had garlic on the back of my palate, don't eat anything garlic with this, because that food pairing would be horrible. Okay. It should be gone now. There we go. There we go. Back to tasting like it should. Okay, so as a standalone beer, at cellar temperature, I love it. As a food pairing beer for me, because I do put garlic in almost everything I eat. That's why I'll never turn into a vampire. Because I do use garlic in a lot of things, I don't think this would be a great food pairing beer for me. Now, I don't use it in everything, so this might still work for some things. I mean, I could probably braise a pork loin or something with this fairly nicely, but as a food pairing normally, I don't think I'd use this. This would be a sipping beer. This would be an aperitif or a dessert. Probably more dessert beer because of the sweetness of it. Yeah, probably a dessert beer for me, really. But after maybe lunch instead of dinner, because if I'm making dinner, I'm cooking with garlic and other spices, and I don't know how they would mix with this. Maybe some cayenne would mix well with it, but I don't think everything else that I use would. So this beer on its own, awesome. This beer mixed, not so awesome. Out of 10 on this beer, oh, you know what? It deserves at least a 9. It does. Will I give it at least a 9? Ooh. I don't know. Should I? I have to. It's 11.5, and it's one of those sneakers. It will knock you on your ass without you knowing. So, I have to give that. I have to give that beer a 9.5 out of 10. It's a really good beer. If you have a chance to get it, I would suggest getting it. That's Brasseurs du Monde. La Seigneur Noir. Really, I could probably try and pronounce that better if I could actually see it better. I can't make out the writing on that. There you go, guys. I'm not going to stout strut because I'm alone down here, so nobody can keep the camera at the right angle, and I'm naked from the waist down, so it's not happening. Bye, guys.